The England squad is out. Finally, it feels like the World Cup is actually happening and I've got such a good feeling. I never thought I'd say it, I'm actually buzzing with Gareth Southgate's decision. I actually look at this squad and it looks good. It's the first time I'm going into a competition, a tournament, actually quite excited. I don't know what it is, because usually as an England fan we all know that feeling, that feeling deep down where you just feel the tremor and the nervousness and the apprehensiveness going into a tournament. But I'm actually quite excited. I look at this team and I understand the majority of the squad. The majority of it I'm happy with, which is not normal for me to actually be taking sides with Gareth Southgate. The three goalkeepers, Pickford, Pope, Ramsdale, they kind of picked themselves, let's be honest. We kind of really expected that. Maybe Henderson had a shout to maybe get in, but that's, to me, I don't think the keepers really matter, because we know it's going to be Pickford and Ramsdale, the two keepers that are going to be competing for that first spot. The defenders is where I have a slight issue. So the first one we're going to talk about is Harry Maguire. And this guy's played 3 games this season in the Premier League, which is just not good enough, is it? 3 games, I think it is now. For me, it's a weird one. I understand how well he's done in an England shirt, but there are some more informed defenders. We're talking the likes of Tomori, I think is one that is really unlucky to miss out. I thought Gay, was unlucky to miss out, but Tomori for me is the main one. I know a lot of people now will come in the comments and say, oh, Sam, how many times have you watched him? Maldini, the greatest ever defender of all time, is talking about Tomori and how great he is. He's just come from, he's literally just won the title in the Serie A, being one of the best players in the team. We know he's a good player, but it just shows you if you go abroad, you don't get in the squad. That's, I think, what it shows. So Harry Maguire, for me, is the first decision where I think I don't get it. Next, we've got Luke Shaw. I get Luke Shaw. Eric Dyer, yes, I get it. It doesn't excite you, but these are players that will fit a system. Stones, Walker, both from Man City, yeah, completely agree with those two. Trippier, for me, has to start now. Now Reece James is gone, he has to start at right back. Connor Cody, and I'm for this, I'm absolutely for this, because this guy's been informed. We know his leadership qualities. They spoke about how effective and influential he was in the Euros. So I'm really glad Connor Cody's made the squad. A lot of people putting question marks over it, but I completely get it. Next, Ben White, and that is one for me that I am so glad he ended up making the squad, because I feel like he's been snubbed by Gareth Southgate in the past. We've seen how he's probably arguably the most informed right back that is fit right now, that is playing for England, bar Trippier, and there's an argument for both of them. White, what I think will really help us, if we're playing a back 3 system, he can play on that right hand side of a back 3 and then shift over to right back if needed. So I really like the fact that he's got that versatility. Then we talk about Trent. Trent is one I feel like may have just stepped in because Reece James was injured, but I'm glad to see him there. He hasn't had a greatest of seasons, but this is the kind of tournament where there's no pressure on him, because I don't think anyone expects anything from him, because we all know he's a replacement. So this could really play into his hands and go on forward. And if he's playing in a right wing back system, he could be really high on at the pitch, and he may really suit the system, because I had question marks in before. But I spoke to the lads on the podcast. If you haven't listened already, go check out Book Out Sam Talks Ball podcast on all platforms. We discussed it, and they convinced me actually that Trent would work in this England system. And if you haven't already, by the way, guys, please do smash the like button and do subscribe. We'll talk about the midfielders now. Jude Bellingham obviously has to be in there. Absolutely amazing season at the moment for Dortmund, his highest goal scoring season. Mason Mount, yeah, you can't really argue with that. The next one is Gallagher, and Conor Gallagher is a really torn, and I think it's parted a lot of England fans, because a lot of England fans do not get it. For me, he's one of those, he's a squad player. We're not expecting him really to get any minutes, but he's going to be there if we need a bit of energy. He offers something different, because when you look at Rice, Phillips, Henderson, Mount, all of those kind of players, we know what you're going to get from them. But Gallagher offers something entirely different. It's goals from deep, it's tenacity, energy. I really like him as a player, and I don't see it being a massive problem. He's probably one of the last names on this list when they were putting them down, but I'm not against it. I think he's a good player, and he's had a good season at Chelsea, had a good season at Palace and at West Brom. I like him as a footballer, and that's not just biased me being a West Brom fan. I'm glad to see him there, because in form, he looks good. He looks good under Potter, so I really like him. A tidy player, and for me, he's clear of James Ward-Prowse, so I completely understand that. Next, got Jordan Henderson, as I said. It's an obvious one, isn't it, really? He's a captain, he's a leader. We know what you're going to get from him, kind of one of those players that you want to turn to in those big games. Declan Rice, obviously, arguably one of the best centre midfielders right now in the Premier League, and even in Europe there's discussions for that, so I really like him. I'm glad he's made the squad. We all kind of expect it. And the next one is Calvin Phillips, and I put him in my squad when I did my video. I said he has to go. No matter how many minutes of football he's played, he has to go if he's fit. And we've seen he's had minutes against Chelsea in the Cup, he's had minutes against Dortmund in the Champions League. He is one of those players that just works in this system. He ticks the ball over, because he can do everything that you'd want from a holding midfielder, but he's so good on the ball. And you saw how influential he was in the Euros. It's like everyone, for some reason now, just because he's gone to Man City and he's not getting minutes, we've all just written him off. This guy is amazing. That is a reason why Man City paid as much as they did for him. He's an influential player that I really wanted to see in that World Cup squad. So I'm really glad he's there. And I hope he does get minutes because he really works well alongside Declan Rice. We saw how good we were against Germany and other sides in the Euros. We dominated them in midfield. And those two, it was down to those two, let's be honest. So I'm really glad Calvin Phillips has made the squad. And personally, for me, he had to. Next time we go on to the forwards, we have got, I can't believe I'm saying it, Maddison. Who would have thought it? Now, what baffles me, and this is not now, I'm not trying to rain on Southgate's parade, I'm all for the fact that he's finally picked Maddison. But do you not just think it's a bit mental that he didn't pick him early? Like, we are throwing him in now to this squad into a World Cup situation. Like, he didn't get any of the pre-season games. Not pre-season, but you know what I mean? The tournament football, which is bizarre, isn't it? He should have been in that squad earlier, but I'm not moaning because finally, Gareth Southgate, it's like he's caved under pressure. I don't know what it is, but I'm not complaining. I'm really glad to see Maddison in an England shirt. I feel like there is nobody in our team that can operate in that middle, whether he's a box-to-box midfielder or an attacking midfielder, that can unlock defences like he can, score goals, set pieces. He is the most complete footballer, I think, in the number 10 in the England squad. Like, I'm so excited to see him play, and I hope he gets minutes because you imagine him playing with some of the other forward players. The attacking talent we have going forward is absolutely insane, and you kind of need him in those games where you're playing against the likes of Iran or Wales or the US, when you expect sides to sit in deep. You'll need players maybe later on if he comes on to unlock those defences because it's not easy. You need those creative players that will take that risk. And you look at the team, if you hadn't got him, maybe Mason Mount, but he hasn't done it arguably in an English shirt. So Maddison, for me, has to be there. Next, we've got two more City attackers, Phil Foden and Jack Grealish. Phil Foden, we all know, has to start for me on that left-hand side. And I'm sick of seeing people saying he needs to play the number 10. He's not good enough in the centre of midfield. I prefer players like Maddison. I think he was really good on the wing this season. Yes, he had a good game against Sevilla, but for me, he's not good enough in the middle. So I like him on the wing. Then the other City player is Jack Grealish, and a lot of people saying, oh, he's not had a good season. He's improved, so I definitely think he should be there. We all know what he can do. It's not like he's an unproven player, is it? He's just had a bit of dip in form, but we all know he's very good. And when I say dip in form, he's still very good. It's just he's not putting up the goals and assists that we all expected him to, but he never did that at Aston Villa. Next, Harry Kane obviously has to be there. Our best goal scorer, simple as that, so I'm glad he's there. Saka has to start in this Euros. I want the front three to be Foden, Kane, Saka. Saka has been so good, and there's a reason why he won England Player of the Year last season. I'm so glad he's there. Raheem Sterling, dipped in form, but he's one of those players that just lights up for England. We all know what he can do, and he's in a struggling team, isn't he? And then the last two, Callum Wilson. I'm so glad he's there because a lot of people say, "No, we need three strikers," but the player after Rashford is the reason why we don't need a third striker because Rashford can play on the wing and up front. So I kind of like him as a utility player. I'm really glad that Rashford's made the squad. He's been really good recently for Man United. But Callum Wilson, I am so glad has made it. Yes, arguably Ivan Toney's in more form, but he's unproven. Wilson has done it for England, and Wilson is doing it at the moment. So I'm really glad Wilson's made it. But overall, I'm really happy with this England squad. Just Harry Maguire's probably the only one really for me that shouldn't probably be there. But argument's sake, overall, I'm pretty pleased. But let me know, is it coming home? I've got good hopes now. I'm a lot more excited than I was before. But let me know, guys, in the comment section down below, what do you make of the England squad? What change would you make? And is it coming home? Let me know. Jeez, I've enjoyed this. I've got that World Cup fever. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Look out, Sam. Over and out. Thank you. Goodbye.